Good evening, brothers and sisters. Well, it's just a follow on from the small video I put out this afternoon in the van. Yes, we got our power back on. Could you believe it? Just at 9 o'clock, no warning, power out. Looked out the window, they're taking a telegraph pole out. I'm sure I've been warned, but I can't remember when they sent, in our case, a little green card. But just moving on, the Antichrist, we're looking for the character of the Antichrist. And to be honest, Hal Lindsey put it better. I have left a link to that in the description. And also the other one which I'm referencing off is Sir Robert Anderson, The Coming Prince, which is an excellent, although very, what should I say, well written in the sense of high English. It's very hard for me. It's like reading the King James Version, but it's a lot of common sense. And look at that, they're both referring to the four empires that's come, the four beasts. And starting with Babylonia, the Babylonians through to the Persians, the Greek, and the Romans, depicted as the four beasts as best our knowledge. And that makes sense if you read these two books. But I just want to look at the Antichrist. It's not going to just appear on scene. It's going to be winning favour. And how's it going to do it? And I think Hal Lindsey put it the best. If you can let me read just a few verses of this. Hitler took the name of the empire from the all-powerful First Reich, which is the Holy Roman Empire. It was in Rome that Caesar introduced universal Caesar worship. Does this not ring a bell? Their dictatorial powers were also absolute. That's how the Antichrist will be. It's a revived Roman Empire. And trust me, I've got some interesting stuff to have a look at here. But let's read on. However, there were differences between Hitler allegiance and the emperor worship. Hitler's rise to power was rapid in comparison to emperor worship was a gradual development. So we've got two contrasts in how the Antichrist would come. Rapid or gradual. One for worship of himself, one for just brute force. Development which grew out of the gratitude of the provincials for what Rome had done for them. It's going to be like they're doing a good thing. We know that. So we'll follow them. When Rome took over the country and unpredictable tyrants were booted out, Rome, justice was established. There'll be an own form of justice. And it was pretty brutal justice, actually, the Roman justice. The Roman peace, Pax Romana, was unlike anything the world had seen, and people were deeply grateful. We've got a virus. I've got to be careful now what I say, and from now on, I will call the virus Charlie Victor, because AI is picking it up. It won't even be in the titles, okay? It'll be on Patreon account, okay? And all these will be on Patreon account. What's coming up? I can't take the chance. It was not enough for the populace to appreciate Rome. This was an impersonal thing. The spirit of Rome needed to be personalized. The emperor of Rome began to be regarded as divine. Before Christ was born, Caesar was worshipped. The first temple to be erected to the godhead of the emperor was built in Pergamum in 29 BC. Caesar worship had begun. Can you imagine what happened in Rome? The empire was vast. It had many races and languages. It was massive. It needed unifying principles, and religion can be very unifying influence. Now that's what I'm looking for in the Antichrist. This will come through the Pope. Soon every Roman citizen was compelled to burn a pinch of incense and say, Caesar is Lord. Is it any wonder that Caesar worship ran head on into Christianity? When the Christians refused to call Caesar their Lord, they were subjected to inhumane persecution. The gigantic movie epic show, the lions in the arena, we know what went on, with the Christians and the public killings for the gory amusement of the Roman pagan leaders are not conjured from the imaginations of Hollywood producers. They're not. They're real. I'll not go on much longer with this, and then we'll get on to what I think. There are many seeds which are planted in the breeding ground of dictators, anarchy, listen for these, lawlessness, moral decadence, human desperation, a false hero worship, fertilize the fields that produce despots. All the gold, carrot and 2-bit demagogues of history grew out of the soil of the times. That's Hal Lindsey's explanation, and believe you me, sometimes it's good to get the older books. That's an old book, really. That goes back to the 60s and probably needs updating. But there's plenty of updates, but it's a foundation stone, same as The Coming Prince. And we need to read the foundation stones of what we got, which is what I've been doing. Now I'm looking, we need 10 nations, don't we? The EU is 28. So I'm not counting it out because it could be 10 of them. I looked at the United Nations. There's 193 nations in there. So I'm not looking at that just yet. And why am I looking at all? I'm not going to be here because I love doing it. And also those who get left behind will be able to see these videos and move on. So that's why I'm doing it. So then I looked at the top 10 most powerful countries. And this is in order, with number 1 being the US, 2 Russia, 3 China, Germany, United Kingdom, we're 5th, France 6th, interesting, something's coming up with that, Japan, Israel, South Korea and Saudi Arabia. They are the top 10 powerful countries. Not that they have anything to do with it, but this is where I'm looking, if you see what I'm going through, onto. And then I got a comment, and thank you, J-Gas, and the person who commented after for that, because they sent me a link, which I'm going to show you the links to. It's a link I used, and I missed it. But on 21st of December, Macron's birthday, all right, 21st of December, and it is the great conjunction between Mars and Jupiter, by the way. Okay, so just a thought, okay? No date setting here. And then I started to think, Macron, he's last on the list, the thumbnail of the last video I put out, because I sort of couldn't envisage that the new Roman Empire is going to come back on the scene. Now, just want to share this. Shock as French President Emmanuel Macron declares he will rule France like the Roman god of Jupiter. What do you think? That's a bold statement. And without going back on the screen, summoning over 900 politicians from both houses of the French Parliament to a rare congress at the palace of Louis IV, the Sun King, the Versailles French President Emmanuel Macron threatened to override lawmakers with a referendum if they try to frustrate the reforms he wishes to impose on the legislator. Such assemblies are usually reserved for time of national crisis. Reuters reports him as saying he desires to reign as Jupiterian president and remote, dignified figure like the Roman god of gods. Okay. Now that made me sit up because he's very much on the thing. Now I looked at New World Order and it is just put out as conspiracy at the moment. It's just put out. It's going to come from that, in my opinion. But then I'm thinking, how does Macron, if it's Macron, gain popularity when he's only the president of France? So what else is he into, is what I'm thinking. And then I came across this. Emmanuel Macron and Bill Gates held first New World Order virtual meeting to mobilize all G7 and G20 nations in COVID-19, said it. Charlie Victor, a 1-9er, global response team. Okay, and I won't read that out. This is what come out tonight. And I'm not saying the Lord sent it me, because they didn't. J-Gas sent it me. But well spotted, brother. I think J-Gas is a brother. Well spotted, because now I can focus on something closer to home. I mean, we're all thinking it's going to, because most people are, the Christian people, because it's so huge, US, are from the US, it's going to happen, and it's going to have a lot to do with Israel, isn't it? It's going to be the center point. Whatever happens here, it's going to be the center point of Israel. So I'm trying to build a picture here, and I'm struggling. And then I found this, or rather was sent this, because this is all on the same link. False prophet Pope Francis gives Emmanuel Macron his blessing and anoints him to take the global stage as leader of the new world order. What do you think of that then? Remember what Hal Lindsey said? Hitler came in. Interestingly enough, Hitler came in like a bulldozer. He was very close to going to jail for what he first did. And he'd been to jail. He was in jail the first time. Mein Kampf. And he bulldozed his way, and, you know, the rest is history. But the Roman Emperor did it using religion. Interesting. I can see it's sort of how it's going to form together. Please help me with these. Please, you know, your comments matter, you know, because I don't know it all. This is our channel. Okay. And then for Macron, we'll just finish on just this one. There's plenty on that site. Now the end begins. Globalists celebrate as George Soros-funded Jesuit candidate. Macron wins a landslide victory. Well, that is sort of history now. But can you see the picture building? Now it's building. We can't get the New World Order. I can't get much on that. I can get conspiracy, but I did find this, and really it says it in the emblem here. Conspiracy theory. Hypothesize and think. But here it is, and I read this bit. And you guys all know what this is. The reverse side of the Great Seal of the United States, 1796. The Latin phrase Novus Ordo Seclorum, appearing on the reverse side of the Great Seal since 1782, and on the back of the US dollar bill since 1935, translates New Order of the Ages. It's been hiding in plain sight, hasn't it? It really has been hiding in plain sight. But I think if we keep digging this way, we'll reveal them and then reel back. I can't give you a date, and nobody can in reality. And, you know, I know a lot of people love the dates, and I'll get involved with people who do dates. You know, I still think a lot of Brenda. I'm glad, Brenda, you've put some videos out if you're watching this. I thought you'd gone. That would have been disastrous. You know, Barry Orr, and Return of the King, and all these people I've watched and taken great use of their knowledge in the past. So I'm not condemning people who set dates, but I just know we'll not find one. You know, so I've gone back to do my study in the books. And I'm finding the older books are best. There is a link for Hal Lindsey's. It's a beginner's read. It's a good read, bedtime one. But The Common Prince, I haven't got a link. But if I get a chance, I'll put a link in the description for that. And indeed, all the stuff I've been working on, I will source and make it easy for you to get hold of them. But they're all on Amazon. You can search Amazon anyway. And find them. But it's just interesting how we're working towards this. So a recap is we can see the character of how he's going to do it. It's either going to be by brute force, which won't work. Too many nations against that. It's going to have to be through manipulation. Now, the world is set up in such a devastated way with the Charlie Victor that people will be glad. Most people that are not enlightened will be glad of anything they're given eventually. So they're going to run it into the ground. And we've seen some of the people involved in that. And you know their names because I've just put them up. I'll not say too much. Patreon. I will put on Patreon everything I can't put here. There's a lot to go on there at the moment. So the character is building up. And Macron is running favourite, in my opinion, at the moment. But brothers and sisters, there is a place I can send you for more. Fellowship, that is. And this is our server Discord. It's a Discord site. Most gamers and stuff will know this. And that the gifts are wearing me out. This is the general chat. There are 3,197 members at the moment and growing every day. You can get Bible study. You can get healing. Ask for healing. You can get baptized of Grace Girl Victoria, deliverance of New Creation Mary, prayer for divine healing of Calem. These people are studying in this work, barring a baptism. She's an expert, Victoria, anyway, and brought many to baptism at the moment. I'd love to. I don't know the numbers, but we're doing the best there as an active fellowship, global 24/7. There's people on there working diligently all the time. So do join us on that. There is a link in the description for all these things and the email list. Don't forget that, because now things are happening. You know, I've had a threat, I've had a warning on my YouTube channel, so there's a backup there. There's not a lot happening on it, but just subscribe to it. Then if this one goes, I can just quickly put a video out and everybody will know. Plus the fact I can send you an email if you're on the email list, and everybody knows, and there's 3,200 nearly on Discord. So we're all back regardless of how the enemy strikes. But brothers and sisters, thank you for watching. If you like, don't forget to subscribe. I will just leave you with, may God bless you, keep you, make his face to shine upon you, and be gracious to you this day and always. God bless.